The speech teacher James Winans once said, "A speech is not an essay on its hind legs." You can't simply write an essay and then read it aloud. In this video, we'll examine some of the common delivery problems that emerge when people don't prepare speeches for the medium of sound. The visual techniques of writing don't automatically translate to speech. Think of it like a movie adaptation of a novel. The novel had the solitary reader in mind. There were long passages that might richly describe a room. The same room can be shown in a 5-second visual in a movie. Books and movies are different because they must be. Speeches and essays should also be different. They're different mediums. Bad speech adaptations of essays I would say, are more common than bad film adaptations of books. So what happens when we write speeches for the eye instead of the ear? To demonstrate this, I have a student here from my lecture at the University of Washington. So my class ended about 30 minutes ago, and she was kind enough to volunteer her time. Today, by the way, is a Friday afternoon, so her dedication is doubly impressive. And she's going to read a manuscript that I wrote about choosing the University of Washington. And this is just to have a manuscript for her to read. She's never seen it before, so basically she's going to try to make bad writing sound like good speaking.
Hi, I'm Nirali. When looking into colleges, I, like most students, was concerned with picking the college that was good fit for me as a student and a college that would allow me to learn the most for a post-college career. I applied to a number of different colleges using the same basic criteria: affordability, academic reputation, and the location of the country. I ended up choosing the University of Washington because of its solid academic reputation, which was recently reflected in a number of national surveys. The fact that it was in Seattle didn't hurt. I'm happy with my choice. I look forward to a challenging and rewarding period as a full-time student and a scholar.
Thank you. That's not terrible, but it's not as good as she normally is. And I should point out, Nirali's a great speaker. But even good speakers are doomed when struggling with bad writing. So why is this? Well, let's take a look at the script. So if you look at the text here, you can see that there's so many visual signifiers that help the reader gaze visually upon the writer's intent. But when we speak, all those features are gone. So in the text, I have paragraph breaks, I've got italics, boldface, commas, semicolons, all sorts of stuff. And those visual elements are gone when I stand up to speak. Right? I can write in an italic, but I can't speak in an italic. I can stand sideways, but that's just strange and weird. No one would get what I was doing. So beyond the visual markers, what else is happening with this manuscript? Well, when you look at it, you can see the sentences are longer. So we've all been taught to write in proper sentences, but when we speak, we don't speak in sentences like that. So a reader can understand a really long sentence, but it's much harder for a listener to understand a long sentence. In terms of vocabulary, odds are we're going to hear more hedging devices and more intensifiers in conversational speech. So hedging devices are things like sort of, kind of, and intensifiers are things like very and really and so forth. These words aren't junk. They provide important cues to listeners, but they're edited out of most essays. Pitch variation is essential to good speaking, but odds are that if you're reading a manuscript, it's probably going to be more monotone, or at the very least, the pitch variation isn't going to be as natural. And this is because it just doesn't work that way, and we can hear it in Nirali's speech. Being able to read or memorize a script like this and perform it naturally is acting. That's what acting is. Okay? Actors take established words and make them sound natural. And that's why we're talking about this now. Ignoring the differences between speaking and writing is like handing an actor a bad script. Even the best artist is going to struggle to make it sound good. So as speakers, we need to write for the ear, not the eye. And this requires an understanding of the medium of speech and the mechanisms of language.